Hello, welcome to this update for Australia for Cyclone Alfred. So we still have Cyclone Alfred near Queensland. The satellite imagery right now, it looks pretty much dead to me. The north side is dry, just air and some clouds, but there's a storm or two there, and the main cloud covers further south. But most models have this still as a tropical storm, potentially making landfall in Queensland or northern New South Wales during the next week or so. So let's take a look because on our last video we mentioned that this would just go further south or maybe go to New Zealand as a cold front or further southeast. But now this is trending more towards Queensland. So L- let's see here. Although it looks pretty much dead on satellite, it's still uh, kind of a tropical cyclone. And the official track has a recurving there, potentially going just north of Brisbane into Queensland. So we have the GFS ensembles here, and most of them take this into Queensland there. And like 998 millibars and 990 or something, like a weak tropical storm or mid-range tropical storm, because considering that it's very weak now, I don't think it will strengthen that much, but it might try to revive a little. So we keep watching, but there's like the Canadian ensembles shows a weaker, but like 1004, 993 maybe. There are some members showing stronger there, but you'll likely be weaker at landfall. And these other models also shows Queensland. So most of the indications now indicates this going towards Queensland. The thing now will be how strong this will be when it goes into Queensland or Northern New South Wales. This is the European. It still has like a 960 thing out there, which showing stronger than it actually is, because on satellite it was pretty much dead, but it does show it weakening a little bit and just roaming out there in the ocean. So the European keeps out there before taking it to southern Queensland, northern New South Wales. And why is this weird red thing here? Sorry. So it goes there, and the European has landfall around southern Queensland around March 6th or something, and it goes there and leaves some heavy rain too. There's the GFS, and then it has like the system there now. It goes weakens to 990 or something. It goes just north of Brisbane into Queensland and leaves this band of heavy rain further south as well. So no matter the strength of this, it will bring some heavy rain and some flood concerns too. But what you should be worried right now is at the beach with the rough surf, because the winds this is producing offshore is producing some very large waves. They have some watches, there are some flooded, some high wave advisories. So let's see, there's the icon, it shows there. This just circles out in the ocean, and the icon is kind of crazy in my opinion. It does bring a 967 system to northernmost New South Wales and southern Queensland. I think this is too strong, and the icon does exaggerate most often. So we'll keep watching, but uh, like we experienced this year in like Northwestern Australia and Madagascar and other areas with these warm water temperatures, this thing can strengthen very fast. So better just be aware at all times, but I think this will be a weak system at landfall. There's the Navgen 2, shows it there. This run is not very loaded. So here shows this going, and the Navgen still kind of goes away from land. But there's the Canadian. This goes there. The Canadian is even weaker. This looks more like reality, like it is right now. So it goes, and but it does take a tropical storm to southern Queensland as well. So if I were you, I would be monitoring there very closely, and please uh, be aware, especially like Although this has still some days before it makes landfall, that there are already spots on the coast with strong winds. So like the European area shows some 77 km per gust spots on the coast. In other spots there of Queens is slightly gustier. And these are just the winds. Be careful with swells and rip currents, especially if you're swimming out there or surfing or anything. So stay safe. So a predicted forecast on the wind, this always changes. Like, and tropical cyclones are unpredictable, but let's just see what the European has for the wind. So it goes, and Sunday, Monday, it has some strong winds Lord Howe Island, so be careful there. And since the system will be lingering offshore, it might affect Lord Howe Island more as well. So be careful with wind, rough surf, and storms as well, and heavy rain. I don't think the center of this will go that far south, but you gotta watch very closely because eventually it does have like 109 km per gust in Lord Howe Island, and closer to landfall on March 5th, it does have some 79, 77 km per gust in a few spots, and even like 77, 78. And this might be stronger depending on the outcome. So it does show there spots of the coast, northern New South Wales to 95 km per gust. And this is not a high resolution model. So as we get closer, we'll have the data from those high resolution models showing the precise wind gusts that might be stronger. So it shows like 113 on March 6th, and the Europeans trending more into northeastern New South Wales than southeastern Queensland, but the GFS more into Queensland. So it shows there this lingers a while, and the GFS is less, is affecting Lord Howe Island less than the European, because the European takes this further south. So just monitor there and be careful. So should like some 81 km per gust, some 86, some 81, but the GFS normally is not very strong on the gusts. The Europeans more accurate on the wind gusts sometimes, but it does show there and goes into Queensland. So there's the icon that's very accurate and sometimes even exaggerating on the wind gusts. So it goes, shows those spots like right on the coast, very strong gusts. Be careful if you are there during the next 5 days or so. This goes, the icon uh, does go further south than the GFS, and it shows like in Lord Howe Island to 114 km per gust or even higher. We like to have some larger waves near Burnt Pine as well. And since the cyclone is there, the swells can go very far. So beware of like rip currents in most of the East Coast and even New Zealand. So beware shows some stronger winds March 4th, interior of New South Wales, spots of Queensland. So this goes, and still has some very strong gusts Lord Howe Island. This goes, and I don't think this will happen, but the icon has a category 3 cyclone going into northern New South Wales. So I don't think it'll be this strong, but it's just good to look at. But I don't really trust the icon this one. I think the Europeans is right in the middle. But let's see the axis, which is a slightly higher resolution than those other ones. So it does show like some 95, some 94 km per gust, those areas. This goes and does have the cyclone still there, and it does go further south. Some winds close to Lord Howe Island, especially March 4th has close to 100 km per gust Lord Howe Island, even more than 100. And then the spins there, the axis has a pretty strong system too. I don't think it might be this strong, but normally the axis is very accurate as well. But I think it's exaggerating. But if a thing like this might be category 1 to category 2, if a category 2 cyclone strikes there, you should be concerned. already because it might bring some big impacts. So like 128 km per hour, so on March 6, March 7, still some gusts, but nothing of what I'm saying now is an official forecast. It will still change thousands of times. So just keep monitoring very closely if you are there, and stay tuned to the updates. There's a link in the description for Australia that shows the warnings and outlooks and everything. So here's the access for the rainfall. Let's put until March 9th. So the access has this make landfall March 6th has upwards of 1,000 millimeters in New South Wales. This is exaggerating like a lot. But you never know. Sometimes these things happen. But I think like the European might be a little more accurate because just looking at the satellite, this thing is not looking strong right now, but it might be just a lack of convection, and tomorrow there might be more storms around it. But the Europeans like into New South Wales 600 millimeters next 7 days, and like some 500 millimeters. Does have southern Queensland to 200, 166, and other areas. So these two models are trending New South Wales. There's the GFS trending Queensland now. It shows like some 300 millimeters in some areas, but like right between Queens and New South Wales, it shows like the worst, like 600 millimeters, northeasternmost New South Wales. It does have like Gold Coast to 500, 400, and other spots to 509. So uh, they might be exaggerating a spot or two, but when this thing comes, you still have a lot of rainfall with it. Not of spots for the north to 300 to 374. So if you are like in this whole area here, please just keep watching and have a plan. Like have a good plan to be careful with flooding and strong winds especially, but flooding would be the most dangerous in my opinion. But please be careful with the winds as well. There's this high resolution model, but just for the next 2 days. This doesn't go all the way to the day of landfall, but it does show already those strong winds there by the coast and those areas. And then this shows similar to what I showed you before. So Sunday, Monday, some winds in interior spots too. So be careful. And even shows like into Sunday nights, a spot or two in Central Victoria and South Wales, slightly gustier, but nothing that crazy compared to what's happening there with the cyclone. So please be aware those areas. There's the Canadian model for the rainfall too. Might be a good idea to look at. So until March 6th, the Canadians more like northern New South Wales, southern Queensland. It's like in between both. But it does have like just until March 6th, spots to 150, close to 200, because these oranges are 200. 150 is this dark dark pink or something. So any yellow you see here is likely above 300. So please be careful. And if you go until March 9th, it shows this big area of yellow, New South Wales and southeastern Queensland, likely above 400, 500 millimeters as well. So please uh, monitor this very closely because this has the potential to be a very big problem, especially in terms of flooding and wind too, but especially flooding. And we'll keep watching this because like 3 days ago, most of the models took this south, and now they're take this into Australia. So these models are very undecisive. So we'll monitor this every day in case there are any major changes. But if you are in those areas, have a plan ready to protect yourself from this. So be aware and let's see here. The rest of Australia is quite fine. A storm or two in the afternoon, northwest Australia, those storms, but nothing crazy. Some tropical rains, northern Queensland, a passing storm or two, and those light blues there, northern territory, are likely from thunderstorms too. So be aware of those spontaneous afternoon storms. A spot or two of Queensland, and yeah, a shower or two in Tasmania. And like next 12 days already shows some more increasing moisture. Northern Australia, some more storms, but nothing that crazy. And some more moisture into Queensland as well in the long range, like next 13 days. But the central southwest remains quiet. But yeah, please be careful. Just a small recap on the heat here. It still shows like Western Australia and those spots very hot to 46 degrees, 41 degrees, spots to like some 40s, even to Western Queensland, some 43. Yeah, a little bit colder in the southern areas there, Tasmania and Victoria. And then this goes Sunday and does show South Australia very mild, like Southern Australia during the night, even a little bit chilly in Tasmania. So be aware, Monday still shows this heat, Northern Territory, Queensland, spots in Western Australia to 46 degrees in the desert. So please stay cool there, stay safe from the heat. Monday, this goes into Tuesday, still very hot. So 44 degrees, 43. The heat indices might be higher too. So stay safe. Tuesday, Wednesday, still hot. So be aware, even to like northern South Australia, northernmost Victoria, New South Wales, some high 30s and 40s into Queensland, Northern Territory, especially the areas in the desert, 47 degrees, 46 degrees. And that shows some towns like 46, out in the desert 47. So please, this type of heat is no joke. Stay safe. And Wednesday, Thursday, still very high, those western areas, close to 47, and some spots there 36. There's the GFS too, shows like those areas 44 or something. So the GFS not as high as the European, and this might happen too. The GFS it can be right sometimes. So it might go the way of the European, like 47, or it just might stay more chill like the GFS. But the icons more like the European, choose some 46, 47 degrees. So stay safe in those areas, and the pattern might continue somewhat like this, maybe getting better after March 8th, but still some fall is there. Those areas, March 9th, yeah, you still remain hot the second week of March, but maybe like after March 11th, not as extreme there, but still some far is many areas. So stay safe, be careful with fire danger too, because of that heat. And yeah, and some heat wave warnings there, and the advisories and the cyclone. I hope they put cyclone watches there. Yeah, they did because like this morning or something they didn't have it. So be aware, and they probably have high surf advisories and some waves in South Australia, Southwest Australia, and Tasmania. But these ones they change all the time. So check the link in the description to see the more recent information. So please monitor this thing closely if you are in Queensland or northern New South Wales and stay safe for the rains. The rest of Oceania still shows more storms in Tonga, especially Tonga and Fiji, shows some 146 millimeters, 152 spots to 125. So be careful, those storms a little bit less in Fiji, but still strong. Some 67 millimeters, 40, and since this is not a very high resolution model, it might show less amounts than actually might fall because in very strong storms, a lot of rain falls and the model might not detect all of it. Just those high resolution models that we use in Australia, like the access there. But yeah, so be careful in those areas. There's the icon too, a lot of rain in Alofi, in spots of Tonga too. It has a port of like 100, even 200, like 228 in Alofi, the icon. The GFS a little bit less, but also it's like 185, 157 next 5 days. So yeah, stay safe. For the map here shows still those passing storms sometimes in New Caledonia, Solomon Islands, and in Tonga, the remnants of those systems there. So this goes, as you can see here, those heavier storms passing by Tonga into today, Sunday the 2nd. This goes into Monday the 3rd as well. Some more storms, spots of Samoa as well, Monday, Tuesday, and more later. So stay safe there. Thursday the 6th, Friday the 7th, and still some tropical rains later. So be aware, and eventually the Europeans, the remnant of the cyclone there, going all the way down to Victoria. So we'll keep watching. New Zealand, still some fronts, but nothing that crazy. Shows like southern New Zealand, slightly more rain. And just into Sunday, it's already Sunday there, but into Mondays, some showers and maybe some thunderstorms too, some central spots. Tuesday, this goes, and like in Waitani, some showers too, Wednesday into Thursday. Then this goes, and maybe long range like March 11th, March 12th, somewhere from to New Zealand. And March 12th even shows some snow in the mountains. And then there's the icon too, shows this front now, and the storms all the way until Tuesday. This goes, and yeah, and it quiets down a little bit. There's the GFS, the same thing. The front does have snow, the highest elevations there. Tuesday, so this goes and like goes away, quiets down later, but still some lingering moisture around. So be aware, but this forecast changes all the time. And for rain and stuff, you should monitor your local weather forecast. So be aware, the temperatures there, nothing that crazy, but it's warmer in some spots like Christchurch or nearby, some 27, some spots in the north, some 20s as well. The mountains slightly colder. So Sunday, this goes, and, and then like to Monday afternoon, some spots there does show like to 29 degrees in a few spots. This goes some 24 in Auckland Monday. And then Monday night to Tuesday does cool down in the south, some 2 degrees, 4, 6 degrees. Monday to Tuesday, as this cold front passes by, this goes. The next night, Wednesday, might get colder in the mountains, some 0 degrees, spots of the mountains. In the afternoon, warms up a little bit in the north in some areas, uh, but still not that warm because of that front. So yeah, be aware those areas and stay safe. That tropical cyclone Alfred, the heat, and everything else.